Mrs. Turner here to read you a story now. Today's story comes in a book like this. Okay, and you might be able to see it's quite an old book because this book belonged to me when I was about your age, about 7, so that's a very long time ago. And it's called Brer Rabbit, okay. And it's about some woodland animals. It's about a rabbit called Brer Rabbit, fox, wolf. There's a few other animals. And in this, Brer Rabbit is the cleverest animal. And he always manages to be the cleverest and outwit the others. And so I always really liked Brer Rabbit. Now, Brer Rabbit's a funny name, that. All it is Brer stands for brother. So they all call each other Brother Rabbit, Brother Wolf, Brother Fox, but it's called Brer. And it's by an author called Enid Blyton, who wrote lots and lots of books, and I think I read all of her books when I was young. Anyway, I'm going to read this to you, see what you think. I'd like to know what you think, actually. So the very first story is called Brer Rabbit's a Rascal. Now once, when Brer Rabbit was hard at work, scraping the stones off his bit of ground, he heard a cry for help. Off he went, rake in hand, to see what the matter was. It was the little girl belonging to the farmer. She had been fishing in the river and had slipped and fallen in. "Save me!" she cried, and went swirling past Brer Rabbit, her skirt spreading out on the water. Well, old Brer Rabbit, he ran beside her, jabbing with his rake, and at last he got hold of the girl's belt and hauled her to the bank. There she sat, sobbing and crying, her arms round Brer Rabbit's neck. "You come home to your ma," said Brer Rabbit. "You're wet. She'll dry you and give you a good hot drink." So off they went together, the little girl clinging to Brer Rabbit as if she would never let him go. And my word, when the farmer heard how he had saved his little girl, there wasn't anything in the world he wouldn't have done for old Brer Rabbit. "There's a sack of potatoes over there," he said. "Take it. And there's a sack of carrots, too. You're welcome to it. And while you're about it, help yourself to a sack of turnips. You're a born rascal, Brer Rabbit, but you're good-hearted, too. So you are. Now, off you go while I still think good things of you." Now, when Brer Rabbit was wheeling home his 3 sacks, whistling a merry song and feeling on top of the world, who should come along but Brer Fox, Brer Bear, and Brer Wolf. How they stared when they saw Brer Rabbit with so much food. "Carrots, turnips, taters, sacks of them," said Brer Fox. "Hey, Brer Rabbit, give us some, and don't you tell us you come by them honestly, 'cause we shan't believe you." Brer Rabbit was most annoyed. "You go and ask the farmer," he said. "He gave me them with kind words, so he did." "Now you're telling stories," said Brer Wolf. "You give us some of those carrots and turnips and taters, Brer Rabbit, or we'll come along one night and help ourselves." "I might have given you some," said Brer Rabbit, wheeling his barrow away with his head in the air. "I might have given you some if you knew how to behave." Brer Fox, Brer Bear, and Brer Wolf stared after Brer Rabbit. Brer Fox scratched his head. "Well, however he got those sacks, he's going to share them with us, whether he wants to or not. Shall we go along to his place tonight and see where he's put those sacks?" "Yes," said the other 2, and Brer Fox grinned at them. "Meet me here. We'll slip along in the shadows of mine. Won't Brer Rabbit be angry in the morning?" Now, old Brer Rabbit had a kind of feeling that Brer Fox, Brer Wolf, and Brer Bear might be along that night. He wheeled his sacks to the shed and emptied all the carrots, potatoes, and turnips out onto the ground. He picked out the bad ones and set them aside. Then he took a big broom and swept all of them along the ground to his cellar. Bumpety, bumpety, bump, they rolled down into his cellar, and he shut and locked the door. Then he went back to the shed again. He took the sacks to the pile of stones he had scraped off the ground, and he filled them almost to the top with stones. But right at the very top, he didn't put the stones, he put just a layer of bad carrots, a layer of poor potatoes, and in the third sack, a layer of rotten turnips. So he's kept all the good ones for himself in his cellar. He's put stones into the sacks with just a few bad vegetables on the top. Oh, Brer Rabbit, you're a wily one. He dragged the sacks back to his shed and set them against the walls. Then he went indoors, leaving the shed door unlocked. And if this isn't an easy way of getting rid of all those stones, well, I never know a better one, said old Brer Rabbit. Now that night along crept Brer Fox, Brer Bear, and Brer Wolf. There was a little moon, so they kept well in the shadows. They came to the shed and tried the door. It wasn't locked. That was fine. They slipped inside. Brer Bear pointed to the 3 sacks in glee. He looked in the top of one. He could see dimly in the moonlight. Oh, he could see potatoes. Here are some potatoes, he said. I'll take this sack. You follow with the others, Brer Wolf and Brer Fox. They staggered out with the sacks. My sack is mighty heavy, said Brer Fox, groaning. I never thought turnips could be such a dreadful weight. These carrots are heavy too, panted Brer Wolf. My, they must be good solid ones. Brer Rabbit saw the 3 of them through the window, staggering up the lane in the shadows, and he grinned to himself. Nice of them to carry those tiresome stones away, he said. I must thank them when I next see them. Well, by the time Brer Fox, Brer Wolf, and Brer Bear had reached their homes, they couldn't walk a step further. They sank down on the ground, panting. Brer Bear thought he would make some potato soup, and he shook the sack hard. Out came 6 bad potatoes and about 20 big stones. Then Brer Bear knew he had been tricked, and he rushed to tell Brer Fox and Brer Wolf, but they had already found out, and dear me, the names they called old Brer Rabbit would have made his whiskers curl if he'd heard them. Brer Rabbit went out of his way to meet the 3 the next day. He raised his hat politely and gave them his best bow. My best thanks, gentlemen, for so kindly removing all those stones for me, he said. I shall have another sackful tomorrow if you would like to come and call for it. And then, my goodness me, he had to run for his life but he didn't mind because Brer Rabbit could always run faster than anyone else. As for Brer Bear, Brer Wolf, and Brer Fox, they had to carry all the stones out of their gardens and empty them into a ditch. They were so stiff afterwards that they couldn't walk properly for days. Brer Rabbit, it's hard to get the better of you, you rascal. And just here is a little picture of Brer Fox, Brer Wolf, and Brer Bear running after cheeky little Brer Rabbit. Well, I hope you enjoyed that story. As I said, that was one that my dad used to read to me when I was young. I'd love you to let me know somehow. I don't know how. Anyway, that's all for today, so bye-bye.